Aloha mai kākou. Welcome to the meeting for the Committee on Investment and Land Management for Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. I'm your chairperson, Keone Souza. We have Vice Chair John Wahe IV. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna's excused. Trustee Akaka?
Yo.
Trustee Akina?
Aye.
Trustee Alapa? Present. Trustee Galutaria? Chair Kahele?
Present.
Trustee Lindsay?
Present.
Trustee Waihe'e? Chair Souza?
All right, members, we have quorum. Mahalo. All right, now, joining the trustees today is Kapua Nui Keishon, along with numerous support staff. Keishon, please announce the administrative staff joining us here today.
Aloha uina la kākou, mahalo nui, Chair, Vice Chair, and Trustees. This afternoon we have with us our Investment Director and Interim CFO Ryan Lee, our General Counsel Everett Ota, our Managing Director of Real Estate Daniel Sandemeyer, and our IT Systems Engineers and Administrators Kevin Chalk, Daniel Santos, and Kyle Saucier. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Keishon. All right, this meeting can be viewed via live stream on OHA's website at www.oha.org/livestream and on Olelo. If you'd like to testify on any agenda item during the Zoom meeting, please raise your hand when the item is announced. When called upon, you'll be moved from attendee to panelist and given the ability to turn your camera on and unmute yourself during your testimony. Once you're finished, we ask that you mute your microphone and you return to attendee. Public testimony should be limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda and will occur prior to any listed item's conclusion or vote. If you begin to address other issues not on today's meeting, the ILM chair will call you out of order and direct you to limit your testimony to items listed on the agenda. Testifiers' mics will be unmuted when it is your turn to testify. If you're not audible, you'll be muted and the next testifier will be called. Oral testimony online will be limited to 5 minutes. Your mic will be automatically muted once you have completed your oral testimony or if your allotted time for testimony expires. Please log off after testifying, otherwise staff may be forced to remove you. All right, members, our first item of business, approval of minutes from the Committee on Investment and Land Management dated April 1st, 2026. Anyone signed up to testify?
No testifiers.
All right. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna's excused. Trustee Akaka? Trustee Akina? Trustee Alapa? Trustee Galutaria?
Aye.
Chair Kahele?
Aye.
Trustee Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Waihe'e?
Yes.
Chair Souza?
Aye. All right, motion passes. Mahalo, members. All right, next item on the agenda, 3, new business. We have a presentation by Richard Pezzulo, Executive Director, Hiʻipaka LLC and Hiʻilei Aloha LLC. And we're going to be hearing from Richard on the annual report dated December 31st, 2025. Activity highlights and financials of Hiʻilei Aloha LLC and Hiʻipaka LLC, including Waimea Valley operations.
No
Hello,
testifiers.
Richard. Anyone signed up to testify? Yes. Richard, just a moment before you guys get started. We have a testifier online. Aloha, if you're online and testifying, please unmute your mic and identify yourself. Thank you. Okay.
Hello, guys.
Hey, aloha, Pikachu.
Minutes, just a minute. You guys trained me well. So thank you for the opportunity to testify on reporting on the 2012 operations, financials, and stewardship activities helps ensure transparency and accountability for this important asset held through OHA's LLC structure. So, of course, I approve. On action item ILM 2605, the reappointment of Greg, as a non-OHA limited liability company for Hiʻilei Aloha LLC. I encourage the committee, as you guys already know, I'm sure you already reviewed his performance, contribution, alignment with the OHA's fiduciary responsibilities, and so I approve of that as well. Finally, look forward to the administrator's presentation on the implementation of outstanding audit recommendations from the State Audit Report number 23-04, particularly these concerning OHA's real property management, classification of assets, including legacy lands, and development of stronger policies for steward and acquisitions. Because, we talked about the PLT revenue. The state budget, HB 1800, is about $20 billion. City county budget is $6 billion. And you guys should be getting your PLT revenue, that 20%, because right now they're capped at 21.5. So I appreciate you addressing all these concerns in investment management, and thank you for your time. Mahalo nui loa.
Hello, Pikachu. All right, Richard, take it away.
Aloha, Chair, thank you. Chair, trustees, thank you for having us here today. As you know, we're here to I'm here actually with our managers, three of our managers, all three are here, Greg Pietsch, Leilani Kahuano, and Bob Lainau there. So thank you for having us, and I'm going to quickly go through some highlights of our 2025 annual report. You can go ahead. Okay, I can go ahead. Okay. Oh.
Just say next slide.
Next slide. Yeah. Thank you. Hiʻilei, Hiʻilei Aloha, there was really no activity this year. It still remains as our parent LLC, and we run, of course, all our insurance through Hiʻilei Aloha to provide that extra layer of protection to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Hiʻipaka, we continue to implement and focus on our mission of preserve and perpetuate the human, cultural, and natural resources of Waimea Valley for future generations through education and stewardship. And as you can see, we focus on those four strategies. Next slide. High level, we had almost 500,000 visitors in 2025. We generated almost $13 million in revenue, and our financial reserves ended at $14.4 million. Now, our financial reserves comprised of about just over $10 million in investments. We started an investment account about 3 years ago, and our savings account was about $4 million. And between the two, they generated about $500,000 for us in 2025. We also purchased a property, about an acre property out in the front of the valley for $970,000. And as you can see, we generated about $1.7 million in profit. Next slide. Sorry. Can't see. I thought it'd be a little bigger, so. Oh yeah, so our kama'aina, of course, having our kama'aina enjoy and appreciate the valley is really important to us. And as you can see, we had almost 70,000 visitors who went through our main gate, and about another 31,000 who actually came to all the different events we had, including our summer concert series. Next slide. Cultural engagement, really important to us. Again, we've been working hard at trying to shift the focus away from the waterfall, which is really one of the main reasons why many people come to Waimea Valley, to the history, the cultural significance. So we've really been trying to increase our cultural programming, our Ka'apuni o Waimea program. This is where our visitors, it's a type of passport program where if they visit 2 out of 3 of our cultural sites and they learn a Hawaiian value, they can earn a pin. And it's our Ho'okipa Ambassador pin. And I have some that I'll pass out to the trustees after. Also, our artisan program. We had 15 artisans in 2025, kapa making, weaving, lei making, ukulele playing, and we had over 35,000 engagements or takeaways with our visitors. Our AHA Hula program, this is a new program, the last couple of years, was introduced. This is where we bring in halau, really reputable halau, who perform in the valley on Saturdays, some Sundays, some weekdays. And, you know, it's a really good opportunity for our visitors to appreciate hula, but also it makes a really strong connection with the community. And a lot of these halau appreciate the fact that they can perform in the valley, and they also can generate some revenue for their activities. Next slide. Okay, our financial trend, as you can see, again, over 12 million in revenue, 11 million in expenditures, and we ended up with just under $2 million net profit. Next slide. Here you can see that the bulk of our revenue comes from admissions, about 68%. Our gift shop was about 1.3 million. And then the events, again, 1.8. And then the other income is stuff like parking, our shuttle service, grants that we receive. So this kind of gives you a breakdown of our different revenue streams. Next slide. Expenditures were 11.2 million, and you can see from this graph that about half of our expenditures are salaries and benefits. Next slide. Yeah, education program. We offer 4 or 5 different types of programs for high school. And in 2025, we had 135 schools come in. Almost 6,000 students participated in our education program. Next slide. Our botanical collections. We propagated almost over 9,000 plants. We had gave away 200 trees during our Arbor Day tree giveaway. We gave away 2,000 kalo huli to the community throughout the year. And we hosted the International Heliconia Society early last year. They came out for a visit, visited our Heliconia garden, and made a day of it as part of their international conference here in Hawaii. Conservation restoration, our next slide, please. Conservation restoration, we planted almost 4,000 trees and shrubs up in our back acreage. We have about 1,500 acres that we're restoring as native forest. And, you know, we also were able to get our next 10-year forest stewardship program, our plan approved by DLNR, and that opens us up for a lot of cost sharing with USDA and state programs, conservation programs. Next slide. Capital improvement. We spent just over $1 million capital improvement, 50,000 in paving of main road and parking lots. We replaced our gift shop roof. We upgraded our fire sprinkler system, and we purchased some restrooms, temporary restrooms, in preparation for some major renovations I'll talk about that'll close some of our restrooms, our permanent restrooms. We also purchased a 23-seater shuttle, which will also help us to have events in the meadows. We have Palm Meadow, Upper Meadow. The pavilion's going to be out of commission for a good part of this year. So this will give us the capability to move people to these meadows. Also, we purchased a mini excavator for conservation. It's pretty much permanently based up in our conservation land, and it really makes our staff a lot more efficient when it comes to clearing and replanting. Next slide, please. Grants, we actually received just over $1 million in grants for a number of programs and activities. Again, the conservation work we're doing, cultural education, presentation, capital improvements, and community outreach programs. So right now we have almost $5 million in active grants. And at the end of 2025, we still had 1.4 million that were outstanding, were pending. And some of those we've heard positive news on, some not so positive. But we're still waiting to hear on some of them. Next slide. So yeah, the Economic Development Administration project, this was a grant we received back in 2021. It's a $3.75 million grant. It's to upgrade facilities. And believe it or not, we're still waiting for the building permit, but it sounds like we'll have it any day. This has been, what, a 4 or 5 year process to get all the permitting done, entitlement permitting, building permitting, the design. So it looks like on Monday, they're going to start the project. It includes expanding our gift shop, getting us more retail space in our gift shop, and creating a history culture walk from the visitor center along that new gift shop exterior right into the valley, where the idea being that we want our visitors to understand where they're at before they step through the admissions booth. So it's also going to include expanding our pavilion, creating a hale in our Pu'akua property. That'll be an education program, K-12. Our resource center will get renovated for our artisans, for use for artisans, workshops, keeping their items stored. And like I said, that should start Monday. And we expect it to finish February next year. Next slide. Staff stewardship, staff development, again, really, really important to us, and especially with the transition that's taking place. We had over 40 sessions on business, safety, and ho'okipa. We put all our staff, every month we run a training on one aspect of the valley so that our staff can better explain what the valley is all about. But we also do safety training. We also do business training. We have a management certificate program that is offered by our HR service provider. We send our staff through. We have leadership training we send our staff through. So training is very, very important to us. And of course, growth, we had 6 staff members who got promoted this year, and we recognize our staff for outstanding work throughout the year through recognition, quarterly recognitions, annual recognitions. So, next slide. Our volunteer program, we had over 3,000 volunteers. They provided almost 13,000 hours. And this in dollar value is almost $500,000. But we also increased our docent program from 4 to 12. And these are mostly our docents are mostly those who greet our visitors at the visitor center. Next slide, please. Okay, looking ahead. It's actually 20 years since OHA acquired the valley. August 12th. So we want to celebrate that, okay? And we hope we can get full involvement from OHA. And right now the plan is at our August summer concert is to use that as the time to celebrate. We'd have special guests. Now, the problem is the pavilion will be under renovation, but we're planning on having the concert up at the Upper Meadow. We'll have tents set up, stage set up. We really want to make this a very, very special event. And we want to honor all those who really had a hand in making, Waimea Valley, preserving it first of all, and then making what it is today. So hopefully we can continue to work with your staff and make this a very special event. I know I've already spoken to Keishan about this, and sounds like we're going to do something special, right? Okay. All right, next slide. Oh boy. This is the ED transition slide. This is our time frame. And, right now we're collecting resumes. We're creating a pool. By June, July, we'll start interviewing. The managers will conduct interviews along with myself. And, we'll hopefully have the person in place by January 1. Now, as for myself, I've been talking with the managers, and I'm prepared to stay on in a limited capacity in a Hiʻilei Aloha position to make sure there's continuity, especially getting us through this EDA grant, finalizing that. Not a good thing to drop on somebody. So it's not completely goodbye, but, you know, we really do need to set the valley up for success in the future. All right? And finally, the last slide, of course, you know, not only the managers, Hiʻilei Aloha and Hiʻipaka managers, but all the staff at Waimea Valley are very dedicated. They work hard. And, you know, we have 80 employees. And if you think about what we have there, that's not a lot of employees. If you look at our food service and our luau and our lifeguards, they have way more staff than we have as an organization. So people work hard, they're dedicated, and they're, you know, really appreciate all the success we have because of them. And they have to be recognized for that and mahaloed. So that ends my presentation. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Mahalo, Richard. Members, any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Emerita Lindsay.
Richard, I don't recall the conversation about you talking about retirement. What is this all about? You know the understanding.
I was waiting for that, Trustee Lindsay.
We want to thank you, Richard, for all your hard work. My goodness, from the day I walked into OHA 14 years ago, almost 15 now, you were the first face I saw. And what you have done to Waimea Valley in the last 15 years is just amazing, amazing. We were in the red when you took over. And I look at your numbers and I'm so impressed. And that's why you have to reconsider. I know that the timing is yours, so thank you very, very much for all the work you've done, for the kindness you've shown the employees. I know they all love you. Only kind remarks we hear when we go down there. And the place is beautiful. I just wondered, did you take any hard times during the Konalo?
Not really, Trustee. We actually had a little bit of cleanup we had to do, but, and a little bit of damage. We had one of our rockfall impact fences get impacted by some mud, but it's something that can be addressed. You know, we closed 2 days, basically, so.
Wow,
But,
that's
yeah,
great.
We were lucky.
And the waterfall didn't get any damage?
No, actually, we were lucky that the bay was open. And if the bay
Wow.
is open, the sandbar is not blocking the water from going out into the bay, then usually we don't have a problem. It's when that gets blocked and it just backs up right through all our property. And actually, I'm not sure, you know, we really lucked out because there's also North Valley that will get a big stream coming through there, and it didn't really impact us like it did in 2017. 2017 was a lot worse than this one.
I see. Well, thank you so much again, Richard. Great love from home office.
Mahalo, Chair Emerita.
Thank
Trustee Wahe.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you again, Richard. I was wondering, and I don't know much about this subject, but are you guys like able to sell carbon credits?
We looked into it a while ago, but it didn't look like it was something that we could take advantage of. But we ask our visitors to offset their carbon footprint by buying a tree for $30.
Nice.
And we'll plant it for them. They don't get to plant it, so.
Trustee Akaka.
I too want to really make note and mahalo mahalo you for all the years of service, the many great contributions you have brought with Waimea Valley, bringing on amazing people. And I too wanted to share in terms of my hesitation in seeing that you'll be carrying on in another capacity. However, I'm very thankful that of your openness and continuing on as you are looking to do. So thank you so very much. I also wanted to ask in terms of what Trustee Lindsay had talked about with the effects of the severe storm and flooding. I did see on the news about the rock fall, and my natural inclination was wondering how you folks were all faring and how positive or negative that might have affected. However, it was very nice to see familiar faces from Waimea Valley on the news and seeing all the aloha that was poured into the aloha towards the pohaku that had come down, and your folks' collaboration with DOT on that.
Yes, trustee, it's been a little bit of a rough year so far. Of course, the floods, and, you know, the floods not only caused damage to the area, but it also created some really negative information about coming out to the North Shore. And so we've been combating that. We've been working with HTA and you know, so our social media campaign has been trying to, and the North Shore Chamber, we've been trying to change that, and it's working. But then we had the lower landslide at the bay, and that was contraflowing traffic for a while, and now we have the upper. But, you know, it's definitely impacted our numbers, but not to the point where we're panicking at this stage. And we just heard yesterday that the contractor who's working on that slope on the rockfall mitigation, they're actually going to place the netting over the first half of the mountain. So they're really moving very quickly. And, you know, I'm hoping that by summer they have the second half, because, you know, if we really want to have a good summer, we don't want our summer impacted by all this. So far, we're not panicking, and, you know, we're doing okay. We know we see some impact, but not enough to, like I say, panic. So.
And I'm very happy to see in your presentation about the volunteerism that is back since COVID. Can I ask how that's similar or different from how it used to be?
You know, it's pretty much come back to where it was. And we just had Earth Day last Saturday. And we had 200 volunteers, over 200 volunteers show up. And so it's pretty much back, you know, to where it was pre-COVID. Yeah, it hasn't, you know, really changed much at all, so.
And the site of Hewa Hewa, was that at all impacted?
No.
That's very
Yeah,
good to hear.
It's up, it's elevated quite a bit.
That's great.
And, you know, we really keep it pretty quiet, you know, and somebody went up and checked, and it was no problem there, so.
Yeah, so I did want to ask on that in terms of it looks more like a place of solitude and not so much emphasis. And I think, you know, in time, as it is appropriate, it would be good to have an acknowledgement and honoring of Hewa Hewa, and in terms of the magnitude of presence there in Waimea Valley, so that those have a deep appreciation in terms of the history of Hawaii and so forth.
And we work very closely with the descendants.
Yes, I know that we have 1, 2, 3 here, at least to my knowledge. So it's very good to.
And I've offered to, if they want to do something to the burial site, you know, that would honor Hewa Hewa, we're prepared to do that. And we're open. And, you know, one of the things that'll probably come out of Waimea Valley in the next couple of years is a book on Waimea Valley. And of course,
Awesome.
there would be
That's
a chapter about Hewa
That is
Hewa. He
excellent.
plays a very important role.
I would love to see
Yeah.
OHA be a part of that celebration as well. And also, one last question too, in terms of full participation with the summer concert, is there anything specific that you would like OHA to be aware of so that there is participation in that manner?
No, I think we need to sit down and talk about a program. I think it's the program that OHA really needs to get involved in. And, you know, it'd probably be something at the beginning, something between the different performances, something at the end. So, yeah, we would have to work with.
I think in announcements, that's a wonderful opportunity as things lead up closer, that we here at OHA can share on that.
Yeah.
I think that
We
would
can
make
get
sense.
that out to you.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Richard. Trustee Aquino.
Thank you, Chair. Well, Richard, we've known each other since 2016 when I became an OHA trustee. And I want to tell you that during this period, it's just been a delight to see the managerial excellence and the fiscal integrity that you have presided over. And I just want to thank you for that. It's a service not only to the people of Hawaii, but to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, as we have learned from your example. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Trustee.
Mahalo again, Richard. Looks like retirement is no longer on the horizon, and we look forward to renegotiating your contract. So, thank you, members. Richard, you can stay right there, actually. And Greg, I'm going to feature you on this next action item. Daniel, do you want to present the next action item, or would you rather have Richard continue on? Okay, Richard. So, members, new business action item ILM 2605, reappointment of Greg Charles Pietsch as a Non-OHA Limited Liability Company Manager for Hiʻilei Aloha LLC for a 3-year term from May 10, 2026 to May 9, 2029. Go ahead, Rich. No testifiers on this item. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. No, this is Greg's second reappointment. He's been a very active manager. He's a Punahou graduate.
There you go. Well, I don't know. Now I got to think about it.
No, and, you know, he brings a lot of wealth to our board or our managers. He's got solid finance. You know, he's really been the main person behind our investment account. And like I said, you know, we have about $10 million. It's generating regular revenue for us. So his business acumen is great. He's really been very active, very supportive, and he's highly recommended by the other two managers there and myself. So thank you.
Mahalo. Greg, anything? Yeah.
I just wanted to say mahalo to the board for the opportunity to serve. It's been such an honor and privilege, you know, I have so much aloha for the Valley, and to serve with these two, Bob and Leilani, and of course, Richard. It's just been such a joy, so mahalo.
All right. Members, any questions? All right. If there are no further questions, Chair moves to approve the reappointment of Greg C. Pietsch as a non-OHA Limited Liability Company Manager for Hiʻilei Aloha LLC for a 3-year term from May 10, 2026 to May 9, 2029. Any discussion? All right, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna's excused. Trustee Akaka.
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa.
Yes.
Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Chair Kahele. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Waihe'e.
Yes.
Chair Souza.
Aye. Motion passes. Congrats, Greg. Mahalo. And thank you, Richard, and the team. Aloha, you guys. Love you. All right, members, moving on. Next item on the agenda, new business. C, presentation by administration in response to the implementation of outstanding audit recommendations from report number 23-04, audit of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs by the state auditor relating to OHA real property. Anyone signed up to testify?
No testifiers.
All right, seeing none. Aloha, Daniel. You know what, Daniel, hold off 1 sec. We're gonna aloha Waimea Valley crew, and we'll carry on. Guys, if we can get a quick photo outside. 5-minute recess. For members of the public and in-house, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Mahalo. Right, members, we are now back in session. And again, it's a presentation by administration in response to the implementation of outstanding audit recommendations from report number 2304, audit of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs by the state auditor relating to OHA real property. And we have Daniel Sademeyer, our lands director, and Everett Ota, general counsel. I'm just gonna close the door. All right, take it away, guys.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair, trustees. Our presentation is a revision. So it's the one up on the screen. So we've distributed the reprints. These are, oh, I'm using this one. Can you hear me all? Yeah. All right, great, thanks. So the print is different. If you want, I can go through the changes, but it was really just for formatting, and there was a typo. So as introduced, this presentation provides an update to OHA's response to the state auditor's report number 2304, which focused on OHA's policies regarding its real property holdings. Since last year's update, OHA has moved from planning and development into full implementation. Today's presentation highlights what has been completed and how these elements are now in use. So at the top of the slide, we can see the audit and OHA's response since 2023, the issuance of the audit, and 2024's response, 2025, and now 2026 response, where we're in full implementation and or addressed the one disagreement. The 2026 response reflects completion of these efforts, shows implementation of the board adopted policies. Next slide. I'll stay on this slide, sorry. The activities towards implementation are listed and dated. If there's any questions, I can go over them. But with the the cooperation with our real estate consultant team and previous interim land development director, Lori Walker. Many of these were completed. Oh. Okay, I'll just try this. Can you hear me? I can hear me. Okay, I'll really lean into it. Okay, what I was saying is that we have a laundry list of the policies and procedures that have been adopted up until this month, and this month actually with the final piece, the business model and operating plan, business model and operating plan, we've completed and now are implemented in all topics. Next slide, please. This next series of slides shows the audit recommendations and OHA's implementation status over time. So to orient you, on the left are the auditor's recommendations. The middle column is 2025 status report, and the right column shows 2026 status. You'll notice that the items previously implemented or addressed are grayed out, which allows us to focus on the remaining active recommendations from last year. So if it's white, you'll see that this is an active recommendation. In 2025, we had 10 out of 22 recommendations implemented, 11 partially implemented, and 1 not implemented. It was disagreed with. As of 2026, 21 out of the 22 recommendations are implemented, with the remaining 1 disagreed with. Our key takeaway here is that all items that were previously in progress have now been completed, reflecting full implementation of the real estate governance and operating framework. These remaining slides break down across policy, planning, and administrative action, and the overall takeaway is that these items previously identified as in progress have now been completed and are in use. So we have a chart here that lists them all. Next slide. Again, these were the bulk of the responses. Next slide. And on our next slide, it's mostly complete, and another one after that. So in summary, OHA has completed the transition from strategy development into full implementation. A comprehensive real estate governance and operating framework is now in place. Policies, procedures, and planning processes are established and will actively guide decision-making. The audit recommendations related to real property have been properly addressed, and OHA will continue refining these processes over time, and the foundational work is complete. We'll respond to the auditor tomorrow with a letter. All right. This completes my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Members, any questions for Daniel or Everett? All right. Oh, Trustee Aquino.
Thank you for the report. What was the disputed item and how was it resolved?
The disputed item, I'll just read it directly. It was, there was a recommendation that OHA should stay away from certain property types and identify those. An example that was given was golf courses. So while that's, obviously we don't want to get in the golf course business, it didn't make sense for, from the consultant side, last year they recommended not accepting that limitation because there may be items or lands that are in a current use that you could reposition for something different, and it would be a good acquisition. So to limit yourself up front, it didn't feel like it was the right idea to follow that recommendation.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? All right, seeing none, mahalo Daniel for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now move
Chair.
on. Chair
Chair,
Meredith Lindsay.
is it possible for me to get a PowerPoint of what he just presented since
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you.
We'll get one to you, Chair.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you. Mahalo again, Daniel and Everett. Right, we will now move on to our final item on the agenda, and I'll give Trustee Waihe'e the honors of making that motion.
I'd like to move,
To adjourn.
we'll move to adjourn.
Anyone signed up to testify? No testifiers. Seeing none, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna's excused. Trustee Akaka.
Aye.
Trustee Aquina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa. Aye. Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Chair Kahele, Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Trustee Waihe'e,
Yes.
Chair Souza.
Meeting is now adjourned.